Joe Mazumdar from Exploration Insights at the Metal Investment Forum in Vancouver, Canada. And on my left is Fireweed Zinc CEO, Brandon Macdonald.
Good to see you, Joe.
We talked at PEA, just before PEA in March, and for those viewers, I mean, Fireweed's been rather busy during that time, so can we talk about what's been happening since PEA?
Yeah, I guess, we put out some updated metallurgy a couple weeks ago, which was great news. We improved the zinc recoveries. We showed a little bit of how the metallurgy transitions from zone to zone. We showed that the penalty elements were less than what people were expecting. We showed that the different zones blend well. And we talked a little bit about our opportunities. And then on the back of that, just a few days ago, we put out our preliminary economic assessment, which is the culmination of a year's hard work, and we're pretty happy with the results of that.
So for the investors to realize, I mean, when we talk about base metals and most other products, they're not like gold where you produce a fungible product, you produce an intermediate product. So the quality of that product is sold to smelters, and so the metallurgy gives you a first impression of what that actual product looks like.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
And that's kind of the unspoken thing, or perhaps poorly understood thing about base metal projects that are shipping concentrate, is that the quality of your concentrate and consistency of it makes a big difference to the saleability of it and what negotiating leverage you have for your terms. With this being a long mine life asset, we're expecting 18 years as the base case in the PEA. We're expecting a low penalty, consistent, high grade, high quality con, both lead and zinc, which we've got feedback even that it's not just saleable, but even desirable. Low iron and zinc concentrate, which is a big deal. No issues with manganese or anything like that, right? So that to us is a major milestone because it allows me to look investors or potential partners in the eyes and say, like, look, this is good, this is desirable, you want this. This is not something that you're going to have to find some way to get rid of.
So a scoping study for the audience is basically, you can use inferred resources, you don't need measured and indicated, and then you sort of scope around what you'd like to do, like the size of the plant, how you get reagents and inventory in, how you build the road, transportation, all those things that go into at a very high level, but just an understanding. So in terms of the PEA, what came out of it for you in terms of, let's say, points of risk and points of opportunities?
Yeah, so the first thing we saw was that $400 million capex, which is reasonable, not cheap, but it's reasonable, and on the back of that, an after-tax NPV of 448 million Canadian and 24% after-tax IRR. That's a very good starting point. But what's most interesting to us is we saw a lot of levers for improving that value. And that's critical because a PEA, as you said, this is a relatively loose document. This is a conceptual mine, and it really is intended to tell investors first, at a first pass, does this thing look like it might make sense? And then it tells management, okay, this is what it might look like. Now, how do you make this better? What are your major risks? What are your major opportunities? We understand with, we conceive this as a 3-year starter pit operation transitioning to underground. We understand the sizing of the pits and the management of that waste rock as a critical lever to economics. We know that transportation, not surprisingly, which we always discussed, was a major cost factor and something that we have to manage. We know that understanding perhaps better how the metallurgy transitions from zone to zone, building up that metallurgical domain, will help us understand a little bit more about how the economics change from zone to zone, and we think will improve it. We see a lot of value there, in particular, as you discussed, opportunities on the road.
So in terms of where Fireweed is, I mean, it's a $60 million market cap company with about 10 million in the treasury, with an expanded land package, which is McMillan Pass. So how much of this is an exploration story about finding more of the sedimentary exhalative base metal deposits, and how much is it of a story of developing, let's say, the Tom and Jason ore deposits around there?
Yeah, I think it's both. Now, the Tom and Jason story that the mine conceived in the PEA is a pretty great base case, and is kind of the minimal outcome. which is fantastic, right? But the broader land package and the prospectivity for new SEDEX discoveries means that if we can demonstrate that this ground is still fertile discovery, we're not sitting on two great deposits, we're sitting on a district. We're sitting on a whole zinc-lead district, right? So given the sniffs or outright intersections we've had away from those deposits, we're pretty sure that's the case, and we're putting a lot of energy this summer into proving that up.
So that district scale component is a major factor for anybody potentially looking at Fireweed Zinc as an acquisition target, because to go to such a remote location, you want a lot of volume and you want to control a large area.
Yeah.
And I guess your idea with your budget and ongoing work is to basically give them some indications that that's
Yeah, for sure. We would see that could be, if you make a major hit in a as of yet undiscovered zone, that would be transformative for the project, for sure.
Right. And how much of your budget this year, like you're just beginning drilling?
People are mobilizing to camp this coming week. Our drill permit allows us to start June 1st, although the drills will be coming a week or so after that. About 40% of our drill budget's infill and de-risking, 40% step out, 20% exploration. Subject to change. I mean, the discretion of management is that if we have a really good sniff of something elsewhere, and if we hit it, we're going to probably transition a lot of the drill program to proving out that new resource. But that's kind of what we're conceiving it as right now.
All right. Okay. And so we've got you've done the PEA, and now what we should be expecting is basically drilling results.
Yeah,
over the next months.
Yeah, and we'll put out a news release pretty soon that outlines our plans for the summer and gives some sense of exactly what I said, what we're thinking about doing, and directly what the implications of success and all those things would be. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Brandon.
Thanks very much, Joe.
Cheers. That was Fireweed Zinc CEO Brandon Macdonald. It's Joe Mazumdar, Exploration Insights from Metal Investment Forum in Vancouver, Canada. Thank you.